What's up everyone, Vitaly here, and in this video I want to give you a review and overlook of the Usermaven platform as well as a tour. And Usermaven, if you don't already know, is basically considered to be kind of a Google Analytics alternative where you connect your website to it, it will track which traffic sources your visitors are coming from, and you can also do a lot of other cool stuff with it as well. My experience with Usermaven is that I have a buddy that uses it very seriously, but he gave me access to it and I've been able to have quite a few months of experience working with it, and I happen to think it's way better than Google Analytics, way better for beginners, way better if you're working with clients that want to see a much more clear picture of how their website is performing or what you can do for them. But basically here is the inside area of Usermaven, and I've connected a bunch of websites to the Usermaven area, but this one here, it's called The Nature Seeker. It's a blog that I run on nature and all that, and right now just what you're looking at here is the first thing, which is a traffic report for the last 30 days. So in the last 30 days, I've gotten over 16,000 visitors, page views, sessions. It's all very clear cut over here. The main things I personally look for when I look at the traffic is the visitors, the visit duration, which is pretty good, and the bounce rate. And typically you want this to be lower, so that's something I personally need to work on. But you also see a graph of this, and it's also divided into new visitors and returning visitors, and you can actually scroll through and see these numbers. It's very easy to understand. If you're a complete beginner, this is very easy. Now comparing that to something like Google Analytics 4, yes, Google Analytics 4 has its own benefits, but I would say it's way more complicated than it is simple to understand. I've completely moved away from Google Analytics 4 since it actually made the switch, and Usermaven has been way better. Now moving further into Usermaven itself, besides giving you a basic summary, you can also actually go further with the dates and all that stuff. What you also have here is you have a top channel and sources area, and this tells you basically where the sources of traffic are coming to your website. In my particular case, I have numerous sources of traffic that are coming from all over the internet to my Nature Seeker website because I am trying to diversify my traffic portfolio. Now, in most people's cases, you will see that direct is number one. Direct is basically a loaded word, and what I mean by that is that you will have if people, for example, are using a mobile app to find your website from some kind of place like Pinterest or Facebook or something like that, it will be categorized as direct traffic. So it's a little bit of a loaded term. I don't go into too many details with that. What I do look at is number 2 and further. And for me personally, I'm building up my traffic base from Pinterest most of all, and obviously it's number 2 for good reason. And this is such a very clear and easy way to see your traffic sources come through in terms of where are they coming from. If I was to look at Google Analytics, I'd have to go dig further into that, or if I was showing this to a client, it'd be way easier for me to show something like this versus Google Analytics 4. So that already is another reason why I like this more. Now, if you want to go further into these traffic sources, you can actually click on what's here where it says detailed view, and this will also open them up, but now you can actually click on them. So let's click on Pinterest, and what this will show you is not just the number of people, but it goes further into the graph, and you see right here it says Nature Seeker, and then it says sources Pinterest. Now I see how many users came from Pinterest and what I'm getting from them there, because different traffic sources can have different kinds of audiences. So the traffic that I get from Pinterest may not necessarily stick around for as long as people that come from Facebook, or vice versa. So by looking at this data, I can make more adjustments, like maybe I should create better content on Pinterest, maybe I should focus more on Pinterest or on Facebook or on another source. These are the kinds of conclusions I can draw with the help of sources like Usermaven. And so generally looking at these numbers, these are pretty good overall. And if I click on detailed view where it says the top channels and sources, because I'm already in Pinterest, I can actually see which page they're coming from. And what I mean by that is I can actually scroll down here where it says entry pages, and I can actually see which ones are performing the best. Now I can also go into Pinterest and see which one of my pins is performing well here, but this just gives me a great simple summary, and I don't need to go to several places at once. So I can see, for example, here that this post about the wave hike and 5 alternatives, this is the one that gets the most traffic for me. I can see, the scroll depth and all that, and that's another huge thing as well with Usermaven. So scroll depth is when people, they're maybe on their phones or perhaps they're on their desktops, as they're scrolling through the page, there's a top, which is the header, and then the bottom, which is the footer, but all the content and images in between. So let me give you an example of what this looks like. If people land on, let's say, this blog right here, this starts, and now the percentages add up. So it's 10, 20%, 30, 40, and so on and so forth until I get to the very bottom. So looking at the scroll depth over here within Usermaven, I can actually say like, oh, you know, this scroll depth is a little bit low. Maybe I can add more content, add more pictures, add more interest to raise this. Because the more scroll depth, the more they stick to the page, which means I can make more money from it. That's how I personally work with this website in general. So those are the other conclusions you can draw as well. This scroll depth with these percentages can really give you an awesome amount of information when it comes to this stuff. Now, additionally, one more thing I'm going to show you, so you can click on X and this will take you back to the general page, is you can also do things like create conversion goals. Now, by the way, entry pages, this will show you from all the sources connected together where most people are coming in from. But conversion goals basically is, let's say you have one page on your website where you're maybe trying to collect an email list, maybe you're sending PPC traffic to it and you want to see how well it converts. You can create goals here in Usermaven to basically say, hey, I want to track how many people come to this page and where they're coming from. So then you can actually see, you know, source A traffic is getting me better results than source B and all that kind of stuff. But that allows you to basically have more data. Now, obviously, there's also locations, regions, country, and all that. So you can maybe see, hey, I'm getting more people from the US. Maybe I should create more content that targets US citizens when it comes to interest and all that kind of stuff. And this is also a graph and also that. I will say there's way more to Usermaven than everything that I just explained, but this is more of like a front-end beginner kind of understanding of Usermaven. So I hope that this short review was clear. If you have any questions about this, let me know. But if you don't already know who I am, just to finish up this video, my name is Vitaly, and I basically run this channel that you're on right now, talking about online business, making money online, affiliate marketing. I do this stuff for a living. Here's some of my stats in this business. And if you're watching this right now and you're thinking about getting involved in the business of online business in general, I will leave a link below this video, not just to Usermaven, but to a free guide, my #1 recommended resource to learn about the business, the baseline fundamentals of what you need to start an online business and all that, and potentially do this part-time to even full-time. So if that's something you're interested in, the guide is free, very beginner friendly. Check that out below this video. But again, if you have any questions about Usermaven, do ask below as well in the comments. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.